This video is by popular request. I've been asked to share my favorite coaching questions. This is actually a really difficult video to make, and it's because I've been coaching since 2008. I've asked thousands of questions. To whittle that list down to my favorite ones is really hard. But nonetheless, we're going to give it a try here. I will share a short list of what I think are great coaching questions. Are they my all-time favorites? Well, probably my memory's failing me, and there's a great question back there somewhere that I haven't produced for this list. And so then maybe I'll make a part two. But anyway, let's begin. You're going to know right away that this is not only one of my favorite questions, but probably a favorite question for many coaches. And that is, what's in your, control, right? What's in your control? Oftentimes when we talk with our client, they are thinking, talking about the situation and about the various players involved and making it about them and not about themselves, the client. What we like to do is bring them back into a perspective, which is really important to have, which is, but what can you do? What's in your control? They're not here. We're not here to try and change other people. We may influence the actions of other people through actions that we take, through a change of perspective. So what's in your control? This is undoubtedly a question that you are very familiar with and probably have used, and it will be a go-to for coaches forever. The next one. What would you like to see happen? We can bemoan the dreaded future that is in our view, but that's not really the way to bring about what we're hoping to see, right? Coaching is designed to create better outcomes. So rather than dwell on what could go wrong and why this might go south, though that may be an important part of a strategic thinking exercise, in a coaching conversation, we would like to focus on what would you like to see happen? That then gets the client to start thinking about a positive outcome that they can take action within their control to move towards. So everything starts getting better when we move away from something that we're dreading towards something that we actually want to see happen. So I like that question. What would you like to see happen? You may have some variation of that, but I think you understand the core of that question, what it's trying to achieve. All right, what's next? No, that's not one of the questions. It's, what's my next question to share with you? What's your commitment? What's your commitment? I really like this question because it starts getting towards something that is more tangible because they're committing to it. I really like that word commitment. I think that when you truly embrace the power of that word commitment, it directs your actions. It directs your thinking. It creates discipline and daily commitment towards what you would like to see happen. See how these questions are somewhat threaded together? So when we get to that point where we want to know, all right, so where's this all going? What's your commitment? I find that it's strong. It's a strong question. Another thing I like about it is it's 3 words. You've probably learned over the years, or if you're still a brand new coach, then know now that short and simple questions can sometimes be your most powerful allies, such as, what else? A 2-word question that pushes our client just a little bit. What else? Oftentimes we ask that question related to ideas that they have to get to the outcome that they desire. What else comes to mind, right? What else do you have? So short and simple questions. Now the next one's going to be a little bit longer though, but I really like this question. It's inspired by the work of Marian Franklin. And it is, how does this show up in other parts of your life? So what your client is struggling with in the moment, in the context of a certain situation, it may actually show up elsewhere, over here, over there, other parts of their life. Why is this good to know? This may be an entrenched pattern of thinking and not isolated to just this situation. So when we ask that question, we find out, is this a challenge for you in other parts of your life? But instead of asking it as a yes/no question, you can ask it as an open-ended question. How does this show up in other parts of your life? And now a question that's inspired by the work of Hae-Sun Moon, author of the book Coaching A to Z. I recently did a video about that book, and I hope you've watched that video. If you haven't, you really should watch it. And you really should read the book, even better. And what difference would that make? And what difference would that make? That gets to the deeper meaning behind why they want to do something, why they want something to happen. And what difference would that make can be asked a few times if you feel like there's still something even deeper and more meaningful within your client. I like that question. Related to what's your commitment? Where would you like to go from here? Where would you like to go from here is you're committed to the outcome, and therefore, where would you like to go from here helps them to take responsibility, take ownership, and commit to something. Because when they answer the question, where would you like to go from here? Well, they're committing, right? They're saying, I want to go there. I want to talk about this. So I like that question because we are supposed to give our clients autonomy. So this helps that. And the last question, what just happened here? This is in the moment coach presence personified by noticing something that just occurred in your client. And you're curious about it, right? We want to be curious. We want to understand, not just by the words that they say, but what's inside, what's behind the words, what's beneath the words. So we ask, what just happened here? That can get you deeper into what's really going on with your client. And it can be very illuminating for you as the coach. And it can also be helpful for the client to voice what just happened inside of them and then perhaps explore that further. So there you have it. As I said, I'm sure there are other questions back here somewhere, and maybe one day I'll make a part 2 video. But I hope this video gives you some food for thought. Perhaps you've been stimulated by one of these questions that you haven't asked before, and you might try it in your next coaching session as appropriate, right? We don't ask all these questions in every coaching session. We ask the appropriate question at the appropriate time as it bubbles up based on being client-centered. If you have found this helpful and other videos in this channel, you might like to consider going deeper with me and learning from me in a much more rigorous context at the Center for Executive Coaching, where I've served as a faculty member since 2019. I lead online classes most weeks of the year, in-person seminars several times a year. I also run mentor coaching groups 4 times a year. So there are many ways to learn from me as a member of the CEC. To learn more about our programs that come with varying levels of investment, paces, visit my blog site, BayAreaExecutiveCoachTraining.com, and look at enrollment options. You'll also see resources there to support you as a new or aspiring executive coach. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and consider following my company on LinkedIn. Look for Bay Area Executive Coach on LinkedIn and follow that page for resources shared each week for coaches like you. And if you have questions, send me an email. I may create a future video based on your request. My email address is michael@bayareaexecutivecoach.com. Thank you very much.